Welcome to the Money Money Tip Podcast presented by Fully Funded Life. My name is Joe Sangl, and I'm committed to helping you, yes, you, live your fully funded life. Today, we're going to talk about the most basic of financial tools, a budget. How to have a budget that actually works. Now, as I record this little episode of the podcast, me and my wife are celebrating a very special milestone. We, 2 months ago, cleared our 20th consecutive year of preparing a budget every month. That means, because it's 2 months ago, this month marks our 242nd month of preparing a budget. And you know what? A budget changed our financial life. I believe it can do the same for you. There's been no tool that has been more profoundly impactful on my money journey than a budget. Let me give you some tips. If you've struggled with a budget, I think these will help you a lot. The first thing is, if you're going to prepare a budget, do so before the month begins. Why? Because if you're in the thick of it, you've already received the income and the bills are already due, you're likely to just start spending the money, and trying to document history is way harder than predicting the future and planning the future. So when you prepare a budget before the month begins, then you're doing so before the income shows up, before the bills are due. It allows you to be more in a planning state of mind, and you will think more rationally about your money. Okay, so as you prepare this budget and prepare it before the month begins, what it does is it allows you to tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it all went. Have you ever been there at the end of the month saying, where is all my money? And I would submit to you, it's probably the same thing I experienced. It's because you were not intentional with your money. There's nothing that tells more truth than math, those math equations. And so I encourage you to think about how to have a monthly budget work for you. Because when you have a monthly budget, it gives you choices. And when you have choices, you can make better decisions. You are smart, right? You're not dumb, but sometimes I know I'm pretty smart. I don't think I'm dumb, but I've made dumb decisions with money. Why? Because I was making decisions on the fly, and therefore I didn't have as many choices. When I do them in advance, it gives me time. I can do it without as much emotion, and I make better decisions. I think the same is true for you. And then as you prepare a budget, here's what you do. I encourage you to go to our website and prepare a monthly budget. The link will be shared in the notes here, and you can get a free budget tool. In that budget tool, you're doing this before the month begins, right? Before, then you put in income, any income you expect to receive in the next month. Now, I recognize you may have income that is less predictable. Maybe you have a side gig. Maybe you have overtime. Maybe you have commission income. Well, put in your best estimate of what you believe you will be paid, something that you are pretty confident you'll receive. And then start putting in all of your outgo. What is the outgo you expect in the next month? Putting giving, saving, your housing, the rent or the mortgage payment. Make sure you include things like your utility bills, your internet bill, your cell phone bill, put in your groceries, and put in your, dining out. That is the one that eats up a lot of budgets. If you're in your 20s or early 30s, man, food, the dining out that I see in those budgets, and I remember it for me, a lot of people say, I know where my retirement is. I've been eating it. And then once you get all of your outgo in there, I like to do this, especially if you're doing this for the first couple of times. I like to do this about 4 or 5 days before the month actually starts. Here's why. When you do your first run of it, you're going to forget some things. I mean, you just are, especially if you have kids, you're going to forget things. You're going to forget, they have that thing. They have that football, that soccer. I've got to pay the registration fee. I got to pay for the helmet and pads, right? I got to put down the deposit for their summer camp already. Whatever it is, give yourself time. And so I always put together the budget, and then a couple days later, come back and look at it. And it allows me to think of it with a more clear mind. I've been thinking about it because I prepared it a couple days ago, and I've remembered, I got to put that in there. Once you put it in there and you get it all in there, well, you might have a deficit. You might have more outgo than income. If you're a normal human being, that's going to be the case. Well, because you're doing this before the month begins, remember I said it gives you choices? Well, then you can make choices. You can say, you know what? I'm going to spend a little less on groceries. I'm going to spend a little less on dining out. How do you do that? Well, you can choose to shop in your pantry or in your freezer, or you can go to mom and dad's or grandma's and eat a meal, get fired up. Plus their food is so much better. It's great. And then you could also say, hey, we're going to go out to restaurants a little less. And I do want to give you this warning. Don't lie to yourself when you prepare your budget. True or false, when you've prepared a budget or attempted to prepare one in the past, you did so when you were angry or frustrated with your financial situation. True? And when you're frustrated, yes, or angry, you can tend to be what we call unrealistic. And you will say, that's it. We're not going out to eat ever. Never. And you're the spender and you're literally lying to yourself. And you're preparing a plan that any reasonable person cannot follow. So I encourage you, don't lie to yourself. Don't put in $0 for spending money. You're going to spend some money. Put in your income, put in your outgo, and trim, reduce if at all possible. Now, if you've lost your job, you may have to cut it out. You may have to cut it completely out. That's just reality for now. But for the majority of people, especially with full employment these days, I know inflation's there, but can you shop at different grocery stores? Can you use coupons or an app for the restaurant you go to? When it comes to prescription medication, can you buy generic, right? Can you use a discount card that helps you? Can you go to another store where it's available? And so I encourage you, as you go through the budget, your goal is to balance it to exactly zero. But one of the things I would encourage you with is don't cut out all your giving and cut out all your saving. Just don't do that. I found that when I leave giving in there, there's something within my heart that leaps for joy, that I get to support the things I want to support, and I get to put my money behind that. I view my giving as an investment. So does my bride, Jen. In fact, we have 2 line items in our giving. 3, as I think about it. Our first one is we give the tithe to our local church. We're passionate about it. We're passionate about the work it does in our community and the world for the least of these, for the poverty stricken. We do worldwide missions. It's incredible. And it does great work in our community. We also give to other organizations. We love to give to Purdue University, where we both graduated from. I've given to Anderson University in our local town. I love the work they're doing. They educated my daughter really good. We also have a line item called Intentionally Bless Others, so that we can intentionally bless others. We carry it with us in cash. And when we see a need, we can just bless them. It's incredible. And then we have a third item where we're saving for Christmas, because Christmas is going to happen and we want to make sure we've saved up for it. And so we put giving in there, but we also include saving, because we know opportunities are going to show up. We know obstacles are going to be there. So we prioritize saving. And when you have giving, saving, you plan the rest, and it balances to exactly zero. Well, then we know the big tall order. That's to follow it. Some tips that have helped us follow it. We use cash envelopes. Young folks these days call it cash stuffing. How does that work? Well, we've planned before the month begins what's in each of those impulsive categories of groceries and dining out, shopping for clothing, entertainment, spending money. The ones that are impulsive, like I'm not going to impulsively buy gas, but the ones that are impulsive, we use cash, and we've planned it. So when we get paid, we go to the bank and pull that cash out. We put it in envelopes for real. And then when we go to the grocery store, we use cash. When we go to the restaurant, we use cash. When we go shopping for clothes, we use cash. What do you do, Joe, if there's no cash? Well, then we don't do that. Why? Because we know we will overspend those categories. And so it makes us a better consumer, a more informed consumer, and it ensures that the things that are a priority for us, right? Saving for those plans, hopes, and dreams, our giving, paying those bills, they all are going to happen, and we're not going to encounter financial challenges. And so I encourage you with that. Make sure you use cash envelopes. If you're going to use one, use it for the food items. I think you'll be very grateful you did. And so here's what I would just tell you. Why not do a budget this month? Download the tool, put it on the app. You can put it in a Google Drive and use it on your phone. And I will tell you right now, I think you'll be so glad you did. When you do it for 2 or 3 months, you'll see progress. Do it for 242 months, you'll see lots of things happen. Great things. Hey, here's to you getting started on your budgeting journey and winning with your money. Get fired up. Have a great week, everybody.